data and stuff to take into the qualifying session and the races tomorrow. He needed it to be dry running. Well, of course, it's nothing like that, and that impacts, of course, not only David Schumacher but everybody else as well, like René Rast. But of course, René has got so much experience of driving this track, the Norris Ring, in conditions that have been dry, wet, and everything in between as well. We are just over 2.5 minutes away from the session getting underway, and drivers out for their free practice 2 session. Hello, how are you? Welcome, nice to see you. Once again, taking a look at the Kelvin van der Linde car. Kelvin, who currently sits P10 in the Drivers' Championship at the moment. Of course, his brother Sheldon, right at the top of the tree, going into this weekend, following an excellent Imola. We are into the 5th round of DTM for 2022 as we look at the man that sits P2 in the Drivers' Championship at the moment, Mirko Bortolotti, for the GRT team, with that tremendous livery across the Lamborghini. Absolutely wonderful looking car. And he will be taking to the track, undoubtedly, as indeed will all the drivers. Now, you may recall my mentioning during FP1 that the one driver that didn't set a time during the first free practice session was Alessio Daeda. Well, it was due to an issue with the car, which they have sorted out, they think, and he should be out for FP2. Maxi Gertz, who I shared some time with at lunchtime, current DTM champion, of course, as we see the number 37 car of Ayenchan Guven, then eager and champing at the bit for Red Bull AlphaTauri AF Corsa to get out there on track. I was talking to Amato Ferrari last weekend about DTM and many other topics as well. Amato Ferrari, of course, team principal of AF Corsa, and always good to talk to Amato Ferrari. He is head of AF Corsa, as I mentioned, and therefore always a mine of information, and really interesting to question him over various things relating to racing. René then in absolutely no hurry to be in the car ahead of this session, 30 seconds before we get it underway. The Norris Ring track then, we're about 5 kilometers or so from the city center of Nuremberg, about an hour and a quarter north of Munich. And a wonderful, wonderful short circuit, street circuit, of course, 2.3 kilometers, 8 turns, 5 left, 3 right. And basically, that's being very generous because really the track is just 2 straights, which is punctuated, if you will, by 2 corners at either end and a chicane through the middle. As we get a green flag, and we can go out for our FP session. And those who are brave are out there straight away. And as you can see, as it's continuing to shower, there is plenty of standing water on the track. And for any driver that is following closely another driver, visibility is going to be an utter nightmare. Ayenchan Guven that we follow right now, he's the first to show, and Lawrence Vantor, I'm led to believe, is on his way out of the pit lane as well for SSR Performance with the Porsche. So Ferrari and Porsche then out on track here at the Norris Ring, and Ayenchan making his way down the Zeppelinstrasse now through the little kink, which is turn number 6. There it is, before braking for the Dutzendijk turn, which is turn number 7. Almost, well, it's not almost. There are 2 hairpins at the either end of the track, and now back on the power once again through the kink, which is turn number 8, and across the start-finish line. It'll be very interesting to see what the time is in comparison to the times that were set in FP1 this morning, which were in the high 40s, sort of 49-50 touch. I mean, it is completely wet now, as opposed to this morning's session where it started damp and then got progressively drier. So looking at the sector times, of course they're purple from Iron Chan because he's the first driver to show. Holds onto the car nicely through Duitsendijk then and heads towards the timing line. And he will give us our first time of this second session, which is a long way down on the times that we saw this morning. So Laurens Vanthoor also out on track. You can see at the bottom of the screen the graphics for the Laurens Vanthoor times. Chan treading very carefully through the turns, holding on to the car. Last thing you need to do is make contact with the really rather unforgiving Armco and concrete that surround this Norris Ring circuit. Of course, ordinarily it plays host to road cars, and therefore the track surface, if you will, has got almost just under a year's worth of road rubber on it, various fluids, and let's go on board then with the car of Sheldon van der Linde. And that's precisely what I was saying with regards to visibility. So Sheldon then really tiptoeing, as you would expect, just getting a sighting lap in here. Through the turn. Ooh, back end of the car, just stepping out a little bit for Sheldon van der Linde. And there you can see how difficult it is to get the power down. Extraordinarily powerful cars. Extremely well engineered, and of course Sheldon van der Linde's car.
Stay out for one lap more and we will prepare everything for a pit stop practice, okay?
As I was saying, Sheldon's car. Copy. Prepared by Schubert Motorsport, and he intercepts and accepts the instructions given by the team. So at the end of this lap, we expect him to come into the pit lane, which means there will be only 3 cars out there on track. Iron Chan Guven being one of them, Alessio Delada being another, and it's good to see him out because he wasn't able to make his way out. Ricardo Feller is now joining us as well, and also Maro Engel. So stay on board with Sheldon van der Linde, down through the gears then into first gear, which is what you use to take that final turn on the track. And
okay, mate, so box this lap. We do a pit stop practice without a launch.
So a pit stop practice without a launch, but it's actually going to be at the conclusion of this lap rather than at the conclusion of the last, which is when we'd kind of been led to believe that Sheldon van der Linde would be taking the car back out into the pit lane. So the AlphaTauri AF Corsa driver Iron Chan Guven is the quickest at the moment with a time of 58.043. That's a good 8 seconds down on the FP1 session times that we saw earlier on today. And no surprise in that. Laurens Vanthoor second fastest, then Sheldon van der Linde, then Alessio Delada, who is fourth fastest. The order is going to appear on the left-hand side of your screen. We've still got 40 minutes of this session, or as near as damn makes no difference, to run. And that is the exit, if you will, from this chicane. You can see got quite a few more cars out there on track now, including local hero. There he is, Marco Wittmann, Mega Marco, as he is known in these parts. Both he and Maxi Goertz, it's very much a home gig for them. Maxi Goertz, of course, the current DTM champion. And Maxi lives around about 50 kilometers away. And Marco Wittmann lives around about 7 or 8 kilometers away in Fort. So Maro Engel has just gone second fastest. All the times are somewhat academic, really, because, of course, the weather conditions we are hoping are going to be completely different when it comes to quali day and race day tomorrow. There we can see coming into the pit lane the number 92 car of Laurens Vanthoor, who has given us the third fastest time earlier on in the session. There is the number 88 Mercedes of Maro Engel. And Iron Chan Guven, who's, of course, new into the DTM for this weekend, and therefore is trying to max out his seat time on this track, if you will, with the Alfa Tauri AF Corsa engineered Ferrari to get the max out of it, and to it's not like he's unfamiliar with the Norris Ring, but certainly in this car. And Ian Chan then a very good job being done as he sets it fastest with a 57.243, but runs quite deep into the hairpin at Grundig. So it's Guven from Engel, from Vantor, from Van der Linde, from Arjun Maini, and then De Lauda is P6 currently. So taking it nice and steady through the Cholereses then. And it's in these weather conditions where the surface, which as you can see is tarmac here, but on the very right-hand side of your picture, it's very much concrete and paved, and that becomes a real point of differentiation for the drivers and also for their tyres. And the grip changes between tarmac and concrete, and now kind of makes little difference in the dry, but in the wet, it's altogether different. So Ian Chan brings the car in to the pit lane. There we can see it making its way in. Incidentally, talking of the pit lane, I mentioned this during Free Practice 1. It's the longest pit lane ever in the history of Norris Ring and the DTM, by dint of the fact that there are 27 cars on the grid. Back out again is Sheldon Van der Linde then for Schubert Motorsport, trying to better his current P5 time. So there is Sheldon then, who has been into the pits, came out again, and has gone back in again. So now let's go back on board some of these onboard shots that we're able to bring you. Absolutely awesome shots where not only can you see, but you can hear just what it's like in one of these DTM cars along the start-finish straight here. Going to give you a hot lap now. And here from a different angle is the Arjun Maini car. So out of the turn, trying hard to get it within inches of the concrete wall to get the best trajectory possible into the chicane, but of course, always being minded, and you want to keep it out of it as well. And Arjun does so very competently, and goes quicker than anyone through the first sector and through the second sector as well, with a 20.74 and a 17.76. Now, Arjun Maini was third fastest with a 57.338. If he can get it all nailed as he heads towards breaking the timing beam now, it could be a new top time, and it is a new top time. 56.52 from Arjun Maini. He goes right to the top. Nico Muller now is on a very quick lap as well. We've not seen really a meaningful time from Nico Muller, although his last time was good enough for P3. It's his first running in this FP2 session. So Nico Muller that we follow now through the Grundig turn. Foot down, accelerates nicely, keeps it away from the concrete walls, chucks up all that spray from the back of the car. And Nico Muller now goes fastest, and it wasn't the Grundig turn, it was the Duitsendijk turn, the final turn on the lap. So Nico Muller now with a 56.3. Nearly 2/10 following is this man, Ricardo Feller, who is second fastest. So it's a battle between Team Rosberg and Abt Sportsline at the moment. But cancel all that out because Arjun Maini has just gone quicker again. And he's the first driver to put it into the 55. So all the drivers doing an extraordinary job in really, really challenging weather conditions. Of course, these are the top drivers from around the world and doing a brilliant job in these cars in difficult weather conditions. So Ricardo Feller for Abt Sportsline then continues. And his best time of 56.5. The target is a 55.8. And Arjun Maini gets within 2 1/1000ths of that. So Arjun Maini now is 2 1/1000ths down on Nico Muller. That's how close it is, even in these extraordinarily difficult weather conditions. Really good driving there from Philipp Eng to make sure that he doesn't impede anyone that's on a hot lap. Top driver is Philipp Eng, another driver that I called up with at lunchtime, and it's always good to reconnect with these drivers who, of course, become really close. The relationship we have is such that we can talk to them, and they're very, very happy to talk to us as well. And Philipp Eng is certainly one of those, and he's out there now to try and deliver the best time that he can. Maro Engel now goes to the top with a 55.654, so the times they are a-changing all the way through this session, and we've still got 32 minutes left to run. Brilliant news. So Maro Engel then P1, Nico Muller P2, Arjun Maini is P3, who we right on board with right now. Almost kisses the Schaeffler board then on his way towards the timing line. Maro Engel has gone quicker than anyone through Sector 1 with a 20.04, which is just bested by Nico Muller, who does a 19.94. So these times, as Maro Engel tries to protect that P1 position he has at the moment with the 55.654, but he's not going to, because he's not going to complete the lap. He bails it and goes into the pit lane. Here is Muller then. Middle sector, sector 2 was not so good, but then again, Nico is one of the drivers that decides not going to take any more during that lap, and comes into the pit lane as well. So we have maybe 8 cars out there on track at the moment, including the number 66 car of Marius Zug, who of course drives for Attempto Racing. Team run by Arkinaka, and this is the number 4 car that we're looking on now, the Mercedes of Lucas Stolz for the Mercedes-AMG Team HRT. And Lucas Stolz goes for fastest on the conclusion of that particular lap. Brilliantly striking livery. And we put the clock on Lucas Stolz then. Ricardo Feller has done a very good middle sector with a 17.55, and to put it into context, that's the best of anyone through the middle sector. And he rounds the lap out by going quicker than anybody, 9 100ths quicker than Maro Engel. Ricardo Feller is the now top driver at the top of the standings. Here comes Philipp Eng then, and Philipp is currently sitting quite a way down the order. So this an outlap for him, and then he'll really get to grips. And you can see the car of Ricardo Feller sliding through the chicane. And of course, when you're going sideways, you're not going as quickly as you could. So Ricardo Feller then, I'm not expecting this lap necessarily to beat the last lap. Just drifts the back end of the car close to the concrete wall, and this is just how much water there is out there on track, as it is absolutely thrashed against the panel work of the cars. Just imagine what it's like if you're following one of those cars really, really closely. Visibility is at a premium as Arjun Maini now goes faster than anyone with a 55.3. Great lap from Arjun Maini, and that's a full 2 1/3 tenths quicker than Ricardo Feller. So the conditions obviously coming to the drivers and their cars as they adapt to the very difficult conditions out there and deliver some really meaningful times on a surface which is less than optimized, truthfully. What have we got? 28.5 minutes remaining of this session, and there are still around about 15 drivers that have not put in a meaningful lap time. So still lots of work to do for some. And out there right now is Maxi Buch. Lucas Stolz goes quickest through Sector 1 as we were watching Maxi Buch. So Lucas Stolz about to cross the timing line, And we will see what he is able to deliver. So heading towards the beam now that needs to be broken to put into the record books the time, which does not improve, a 55.63. Yes, it does actually. He goes up one place, but then is immediately dropped by Ricardo Feller once again. So it's Arjun Maini from Maro Engel, from Ricardo Feller and Lucas Stoltz. So we've got two Mercedes split with an Audi in P3. Then it's Mercedes, then it's Ayan Guven, who set the time, which gives him P5 at the moment. So Feller improved through Sector 1 overall, but Sector 2 and Sector 3 was where he perhaps lost a bit of time. Now, Alessio Delado is under investigation for potentially pit lane speeding, we're seeing on our message screen from race control. Hold that in abeyance, if you will. As Maro Engel now relegates Arjun Maini to P2 because Maro Engel has given us a 55.178. Now, we've got just under 27 minutes of this session remaining. Are we likely to see a time into the 54s? I guess some of it will depend on whether... I think the showers have abated just looking out of the studio window. Now, there certainly isn't going to be anything like a dry line created in 26.5 minutes. I wouldn't have suggested, but it will be less clogged with water perhaps on the racing line than it was previously, perhaps enabling and allowing the cars and drivers to go quicker. Still like Ricardo Feller with a 54. I wondered whether we would get a time into the 54s. It's perhaps come earlier than I anticipated with a 54.998. And it came from Ricardo Feller, the AB Sportsline driver. Ferrari of Ayan Guven is back out on track once again. Where is Ayan sitting? P5 at the moment for AlphaTauri AF Corsa. That's Nico Muller just crossing the timing line. Where's Nico? P8. Ayan P5. And he's looking for improvements. And of course, for Ayan it's critical to be out there and get as much seat time in this particular car around this circuit as he possibly can. Lucas Stoltz then with PBs in Sector 1 and Sector 2. He's currently fourth fastest, and this could be an improvement for him. So let's see how he is able to do. Lucas Stoltz then heading towards breaking the timing beam now. And Lucas Stoltz then goes to P3. So it was an improvement for the Mercedes-AMG team HRT driver. In fact, two HRT drivers in P3 and P4. It's Lucas Stoltz and Arjun Maini. And now Nico Muller for Team Rosberg has gone quicker than anyone with a 54.932. 54.932. It's around about 6.5 tenths. Sorry, 6.5 one-hundredths quicker than Ricardo Feller. So the times gained and the margins are decreasing significantly. Because Ricardo Feller fights back with a 54.913. So 54.913 playing 54.932. The only two drivers into the 54s now make that three as Maro Engel joins the three-way party in the 54s. So it is Audi, Mercedes, Audi at the moment. Other manufacturers, feel free to join in. We're trying, Dave. We are giving it our best. So, best of the Porsches is running in P6 at the moment for SSR Performance with Lawrence Vansor. Best of the Ferraris, the AlphaTauri AF Corsa driver Ayan Guven. The best BMW is with Philipp Eng, P9, and then Sheldon van der Linde, P10. And the best of the Lamborghinis is currently P14, and that's with Alessio Delado. Nico giving it everything he can then, as right now, time's continuing to change as Lawrence Vantor For SSR Performance now goes P4. It's Feller, Engel, Muller, Vantor, Meini, Stoltz, Book, Guven, Eng, and Van der Linde. Say those 9 names in quick succession, it sounds something like a rock band, doesn't it? So here is Nico Muller then, holding onto the car beautifully through the turn. Great camera angle, that is, where you can really see the car and being rotated through that turn. And once again, let's get this fantastic onboard shot with Arjun Maini, who's on a good lap here. And such a good lap that he goes a 10th quicker than Ricardo Feller. Well done, Arjun Maini. Puts it P1 with a 54.631. Arjun Maini, quickest car. Ricardo Feller, second quickest. And then it is Maro Engel, who is third fastest ahead of Nico Muller, Lawrence Vantor, Lucas Stoltz, and Maxi Boog, who won't improve on account of the fact they're in the pit lane. Then it's Ryan Chan, Guven, Philip Eng, and Dennis Olsen, rounding out the top 10 in this FP2 session this afternoon. Free Practice 1 was held earlier on a damp track, but with a drying racing line. And that's the line the drivers were able to take advantage of and bring those times down towards the end of the session earlier on today. Arjun Maini absolutely throwing everything at this, as Nico Muller now is the fastest driver with a 54.516. And Arjun Maini then relegated to P7, some 7/100ths down. Dennis Olsen, we're running the clock on as well. Dennis Olsen is currently P8 of all the 27 runners in this FP2 session. And he crosses the timing line now. Oh, wow. He put in such a blistering final sector that Dennis Olsen has gone quicker than anyone by 1.1/100ths. So Dennis Olsen for SSR Performance with a 54.505. Who is going to respond and when are they going to respond? You can see the nationality flags on the graphics to the left-hand side of your screen. If you are just joining us, welcome, good afternoon. This is the Free Practice 2 session from the DTM. We're live from the Norris Ring, just outside the city center of Nuremberg, and having a great time of it in difficult weather conditions. These drivers proving why they are at the very, very top of their profession, being able to absolutely nail these cars through this street circuit at such speed that we are seeing times in the 54s and 55s. Great stuff indeed. 20 minutes remaining in this qualifying session as Rene Rast then makes his way out onto track for his first installation lap. And it'll be very interesting to see what Rene is able to do. David Schumacher is also on his way out. So too Thomas Preining. And Thomas Preining was something of a lively character when it came to FP1 earlier on today. So there is Rene. No stranger to success, of course, in the DTM. Had a win and 2 podiums thus far this year. Would like to add to that tally, if he could, over the course of this weekend. Olsen from Muller, from Maini, and here is Rene. Puts the power down on the exit of the turn, holds onto the car, gets it pointing in the perfect direction, and the number 19 Lamborghini, well no, that's the Mercedes, but the car following is the number 19 Lamborghini. You can just see in shot there of Frank Pereira. Delighted to welcome him to the DTM for this weekend here at the Norris Ring. The cars sound awesome when they go past that microphone. Absolutely loving it. Another car under investigation for potentially speeding in the pit lane is Alessio Deletta for GRT. We will see if anything comes of that. At the moment, the track temperature is 18.6 degrees. The air temperature, you could not believe it, it's just under 15. Compare that to the sauna-like conditions that we have had in days previous to this, and it is somewhat bewildering. That's the only word that we can use. So who are doing purple sectors here at the moment? Ricardo Feller, Lawrence Vantor has just moved up a place into P5. And you can see the car of Maxi Book, number 18 Mercedes, just in the shot. But now we focus on Rene Rast then into the pit lane. 17.5 minutes of the session remaining. Here, though, is the Maxi Book car that we were talking about. And, of course, Maxi Book and Maxi Goertz used to race together in other series and teammates and champions in their own right. And, of course, Maxi Goertz, the current DTM champion. So Maxi Book, then, it is that brings the number 18 car into the pit lane. Pit lane speed limiter on. And heading down there now. And once again, we have more cars in the pit lane than we do out there on track. Some 11 cars out there on the track of the 27 car lineup that we have for DTM this weekend. So the number 12 car of Dev Gore. Dev accelerates then out of the turn. The car screams its way into the Scholler S then. This wonderful chicane deals with that absolutely perfectly. Tries to avoid the paved area to the outside of the exit of that chicane, where the grip is altogether harder to find. And where is Dev with regards to timing at the moment? P13. So is this going to be an improvement from Dev, or is he going to dive into the pit lane? I rather think he's in the pit lane. I think from the very top of the shot that we could see there, I think that was the Dev Gore car that came into the pit lane. Sure enough, it was. And now we can see it to the left-hand side of your picture. So with just on a quarter of an hour remaining, it's a story of Porsche at the top with Dennis Olsen, then Lucas Stolz P2 for Mercedes, then Nico Müller for Audi, who is P3. This, the number 55 car of Michael Grenier, the Mercedes team Group M Racing. But we have the clock on and 2 personal bests from Michael. And there is the car. And he's done a time which is good enough for P7. So well done. It's a 54.867. Back end of Dennis Olsen, we can see, heading towards the Grundig turn now with traffic ahead of him as well. Still meaningful times to be set by Kelvin van der Linde and Esteban Moot, Marco Wittmann, Frank Pereira, Lucas Auer, Thomas Preining, David Schumacher, Mirko Bortolotti, Felipe Fraga, as well as one other car as well. Sorry, just distracted then as I was watching this car coming into the pit lane. The other one that hasn't really given us a time yet is Clemens Schmidt, of course. Philip Eng then, personal best through Sector 1. And let's pick up the number 25 car of Philip Eng. Driving for Schubert Motorsport and going P9 with that last lap time. Now, make of this what you will, but the top 11 cars are covered by just 0.6. It's always close in the DTM, but this is very, very close. Sheldon van der Linde trying to get the max out of his BMW then as he exits the chicane. And we ride on board and can see Sheldon hard at work inside the car then. Down through the gearbox, braking in quite deep. You see the drivers in these conditions use completely different lines to the lines that they would use if the track surface was dry, as we're expecting it to be across the course of the weekend. And Sheldon, championship leader, incidentally, can only give us a time that is good enough for P13. So more to come from the Sheldon van der Linde car, who has right up his trumpet Dennis Olsen. So drivers very respectful of each other when they're out there on the track during this FP session. And if they're on a hot lap, they do their level best to get out of the way and not inhibit other drivers as they make their way around the track. Mirko Bortolotti at the moment takes refuge in the waterproof temporary garages here at the Norris Ring. Bear in mind that work starts many weeks in advance of the actual weekend to prepare this place for this wonderful weekend of motor racing. Just wanted you to enjoy the sound of that wonderful engine as Dennis Olsen for SSR Performance. Now Maro Engel is within 7/100ths of the time from Dennis Olsen. The 54.389, Maro Engel with a 54.462. So now it's 8 drivers in the 54s. And Ricardo Feller going quicker than before. It's a 54.52 for Ricardo Feller. However, for the moment, as we watch the number 88 car of Maro Engel, Arjun Maini is the one that's lighting up the graphics, certainly through Sector 1. Arjun Maini is currently 6th fastest in this FP2 session. I was going to say you have to be so careful on the throttle, but listening to the engine note would rather suggest that Arjun Maini is being as aggressive as he dares to be, and it's obviously paid off, because by 2.5 tenths he's quicker than Dennis Olsen. Arjun Maini puts the Mercedes-AMG Team HRT car to the top of the standings at the moment. That's all really rather too deep there for Ayanchan Guven. Just a little bit of a slide from the back end of Arjun Maini then on the in part of the chicane. Gathers it all up nicely and controls it perfectly. And we ride on board heading into the Duitsendijk turn. Sound of that car as it powers its way is a audio pleasure. And Arjun Maini with a 54.131. His last lap was not going to trouble that. Is anyone going to be able to get near to that 54 time? It wasn't so many minutes ago that we were saying, will any driver make it into the 54s? Well, 12 have. And now Arjun Maini has got tantalizingly close by 1/10 and 1/3 to actually breaking into the 53s. Will that happen before this session ends in 9 minutes' time? Job to know, truthfully. Climatic conditions are such that it's not changing at the moment. There is a little bit of wind around, but it's not helping in terms of the drying process of the tarmac. However, the water distribution of the tires is helping. Dennis Olsen responding to the Arjun Maini time with a very good Sector 2. Closes out Sector 3, not quite where he needed it to be, so he remains in P2. ahead of Mauro Engel and Lucas Stolzein, Chen Guven, Nico Muller, Ricardo Feller, Frank Pereira. Then it's Lawrence Vantor and Rennie Rast is at the bottom end of the top 10 at the moment. David Schumacher with a personal best. And David Schumacher is currently 15th fastest. And the number 27 car that he drives, we can see right in the center of our shot now. Really is a very articulate young man, having a conversation with him over our lunch break. Makes his way through the turn now, 2 hairpins effectively that make up the 8 complete turns, 5 left, 3 right here at the Norris Ring. And the number 27 car, of course, engineered by Mercedes-AMG Team Winward. Arjun Maini now with a 54.059. 54.059. All of a sudden, my aspirations to see if we can get a car into the 53s may not seem quite as ambitious as they once did, because we're getting closer and closer as every second goes by. Worryingly, there are still 6 drivers that we've not seen times from. You can see that on the left-hand side of your screen. They are Kelvin van der Linde, Esteban Moot, Marco Wittmann, Lucas Aer, Thomas Preining, and Clemens Schmidt. No figures against them on the timing screen at the moment. Do bear in mind, though, this is free practice session 2 and not a qualifying session. Those sessions come tomorrow, when, of course, the level of competition and determination to put in the very best time in conditions that we expect to be completely different to today. One or 2 personal bests coming out, but no purple sectors. Is anyone going to be able to shave just over 6/100ths away from Arjun Maini and therefore put their car into the 53s from this FP2 session, with the clock relentlessly continuing to count down and minimize the time that the drivers have out on track? Just over 5 minutes now. Lights being flashed, as you can see, from Dennis Olsen, as he's trying to find a way by the car of Alessio Dell'Ada, and does find a way. Good driving from Alessio. Giving good room to Dennis Olsen, who will feel that he has more to give, because even if a driver does everything he can and tries to get out of the way and not impede you, inevitably concentration is blocked just for a millisecond or 2. Marco Bortolotti, incidentally, who we can see center screen now, has just gone 8th fastest. So there is Mirko Bortolotti. We continue to run the clock on other drivers, including Lawrence Vantor and Philipp Eng. And Lawrence Vantor quicker of the 2 of those particular drivers. Lawrence then heads towards the timing line and goes 2nd fastest with a 54.226. So just over 1.5 tenths down on Arjun Maini. I have to say, I think that was a stunning lap from Arjun Maini when he set that 54.059. Truly is a young talent. So 2 cars together there. One certainly not impeding the other. Here the traction really trying to bite and then being momentarily stalled a little by the weather conditions, which the level of spray being shot up has not diminished at all during the course of this FP session. The session that Arjun Maini leads with a 54.059. With the 2.5 minutes remaining, are we going to see anyone into the 53s? Not sure we are. It's very busy out there on track, therefore finding the clear space ahead that you need or you desire is not going to be as easy now. However, Lucas Stolz just goes 4th fastest with a 54.241. And Mirko Bortolotti, who we're on board with now. In the Lamborghini for Grassa Racing Team. This lovely onboard shot now, braking, then rotating the car into the left-hander. Getting the power down as quickly as you dare without sending the rear end into the concrete wall. Here comes Mirko Bortolotti then. Be disappointed with that, I would suggest. Hope for more to come. Frank Pereira, who's doing a very good job running in P7 at the moment. In this very car that we watch through the turn now and accelerate out. Just letting you listen to the audio backdrop every now and again to remind us that the reason we love the sport we do is not only the sights, but also the sounds of these racing cars. So full chat flat into the turn after a healthy dose of the brake pedal. And we have but half a minute remaining. What a great song that was from Matt Bianco, half a minute. Dig that one out one day. You'll thank me for it. Now, as I'm mentioning that fine band, Maro Engel with a 54.172 gets within a 10th of Arjun Maini. Inevitably, you can see now that the track is beginning, I'm not going to say to dry out, but it's becoming a little less wet. And just as the checkered flag comes out, and there you can see the session is over for Maro Engel, who was not able to improve still further. Arjun Maini then with a 54.057. Oh, and just at the close, Frank Pereira has gone 2nd fastest with a 54.162. Now, according to my reckoning, looking at the timing screen, there are no other drivers that are going to trouble the top 3 at the moment by dint of not seeing any purple sectors on those drivers that are on a lap that remains. But just at the end of the session, Frank Pereira then delivered that 54.182. Now, that gives him P2. And with all cars now having crossed the line within the session times, it's not going to change. Interestingly, the likes of Kelvin van der Linde, Esteban Moot, Marco Wittmann, Lucas Au, Thomas Preining and Clemens Schmidt didn't give us a meaningful time during that FP2 session. Here then, quicker than a lightning bolt is the result. Arjun Maini, number 1. Frank Pereira, then Maro Engel. Then it was Lucas Stolz, Lawrence Vantor, Dennis Olsen, Nico Muller, Ayanchang Guven, Ricardo Feller and Mirko Bortolotti. They round out the top 10 of that Free Practice 2 session. So very, and look, there's only 4 tenths between P1 and P2. Then it was Marius Zug, Philipp Eng, René Rast, then Mikko Grenier, Felipe Fraga, Maxi Book, David Schumacher, Sheldon van der Linde, Alessio Deleda, and Dev Gore. Thank you so much for watching Free Practice 2. Make sure you join us for qualifying and the race tomorrow. Goodbye.